It's that time of year. It happens the same time every year. The final 10 days of the baseball season. The only thing predictable about this time of year is its unpredictability. Summer is officially over, and the final push for the postseason has officially begun. In the National League, it's a three-team race. The Mets, defending NL champs with Syndergaard and Cespedes. This team is dangerous, but without Jacob deGrom, how far can they go? The Giants, World Series winners in 3 of the last 6 years. Bumgarner and Buster know a thing or two about postseason play. But can they fix their broken bullpen in time? Then there's the Cardinals, consistently inconsistent. Last year it was pitching. This year it's the power. It's a different year with a different identity, but it's the same old Cards. It's the stretch run for St. Louis. The Cardinals finish their road schedule with the first of 3 against Chicago, then return home to battle the Reds and Bucks at Busch. 3 teams, 2 spots, 10 games in 10 days, right here on Fox Sports Midwest.
This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. And Cardinals baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The friendly confines of Wrigley Field, the Cubs and the Cardinals renew an old rivalry. It's game number 1 of this 3-game weekend series. In the wild card, the Cardinals are a half game behind New York and San Francisco. Those 2 teams picked up a victory last night. Jim Hayes is here. That's Tim McCarver. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Welcome to Wrigley Field. Should be an entertaining day of baseball. The great rivalry. The Cardinals trying to get in the playoffs. We know the Cubs are in. Good matchup today. Jake Arrieta and Mike Leake.
The excitement is palpable here at Wrigley Field. And what the Cardinals offense wants to do today is to get runs for Mike Leake. He's pitched 19 innings against the Cubs this year, and the Cardinals have scored 1 run with him in the game.
Always tough. Jake Arrieta on the mound for the Chicago Cubs. Mike Leake for St. Louis. A rivalry renewed. The Cubs and Cardinals coming up on Fox Sports Midwest. Town. These fans coming in to see the Cubs, and they have played very well in this home ballpark. For the St. Louis Cardinals, Randal Grichuk is in the lineup. He'll play center field. Great numbers against Chicago this year. First and only walk-off home run earlier this season. He's homered off today's starter, Jake Arrieta. Last time we were here, he put one into the basket. He's got 4 home runs this season against Chicago, a .310 average, and he's driven in 10. Randal Grichuk will bat 6th in the lineup today. Matt Carpenter will lead it off when we come back. Jake Arrieta, Mike Leake, the Chicago Cubs, the St. Louis Cardinals. Game 1 coming up on Fox Sports Midwest. By Budweiser, not backing down since 1876. This Bud's for you. By Chevrolet, visit your local Mid-America Chevy dealer for great prices on the all-new 2016 Malibu. And by Menards, save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. Beautiful city of Chicago. Cardinals enjoyed the off day yesterday. And now they're inside the ivy-colored walls and covered walls of Wrigley Field. Dan McLaughlin, Tim McCarver, Jim Hayes with you. A packed house here at Wrigley Field where the Cubs are trying to play spoiler and the Cardinals trying to pick up every win they can in this wild card chase.
That's an interesting word, isn't it? Spoiler for a team that's already clinched the division.
I think it's the right way to look at it, too.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Carpenter, Jerko, and Piscotti for the Cardinals, followed by Adams, Molina, and Grichuk. Then Johnny Peralta. Colton Wong, he's in left field today. Jim will have more on that in the second inning. And Mike Leake is your pitcher, batting 9th. On the mound, the reigning Cy Young Award winner in the National League. It's been at times an up-and-down season this year for Jake Arrieta, but still a very good one. It's 17-7, his record. In the Chicago Tribune yesterday, they had the possible starters for the Chicago Cubs in the best 3 out of 5 series, whoever it may be, either the Giants or the Cardinals or the Mets. And it was interesting to see that Arrieta would be the 3rd starter. It would be Lester, Kendrick, and then Arrieta, and not the reigning Cy Young Award winner. And not to mention that John Lester would be in that conversation as your number 1. Yeah. And then John Lackey could be on the outside looking in. Right, right. There's a look at Mike Matheny. So the Cardinals with the off day yesterday, the Giants and the Mets both winning late in their games. St. Louis starts a half game back in the wild card. Matt Carpenter riding a 5-game hit streak. And yet he has really struggled against a close friend in Jake Arrieta. Carpenter facing also a graduate of TCU in Arrieta. He is 0 for 21 at the plate when facing Jake in regular season play. He did have a base hit against him last year in the division series.
That's no way to treat a horned frog.
No, sir. First pitch is taken for a ball. The home plate umpire is C.B. Buckner. Jim Reynolds down at first. Field and Colbreth at second. Manny Gonzalez is at third. And because of what you're talking about, Tim, this start for Jake Arrieta becomes very important to make that case to be the potential third starter in that rotation.
Right. Yeah, Jake Arrieta is not starting this game as a spoiler. He wants to go out and blank the Cardinals so he can move up in the rotation to start against any of the three, the Giants, the Mets, or the Cardinals.
2-1 the count on Carpenter. Outfield is deep, big gap in right center. Pops it foul and out of play. Wind currently, and you always have to say currently and check it just about every other inning, it is currently blowing in. But that can change in a blink of an eye.
Ralph Kiner, the great Ralph Kiner, Hall of Famer, played here in 1954, and he said you can always check the smell of the stockyards and find out whether it's blowing out or not. Out, good sign for hitters.
Check swing. Did he go? He did. And a strikeout of Carpenter.
I think Matt knew it, but he was hoping that third base umpire Manny Gonzalez didn't see it because he knew C.B. Buckner didn't, but he went too far.
Chicago defense, Coughlin, Fowler, Hayward in the outfield, Bryant, Russell, Zobrist, and Rizzo on the infield. Montero is behind the plate. Here's Jed Jerko celebrating his 28th birthday today. Mike Matheny turned 46 yesterday. So happy birthday to those two.
Well, the trouble with Jed Jerko against this particular pitcher is to lay off the breaking ball low and away. Like that.
We've had a few games that we've done in which Jake Arrieta has been on the mound, and you can tell why he's so tough against a righty as he steps towards a right-handed batter.
Right. Throws across his body. That's a very sharp breaking ball away. Again.
2 up and 2 down.
Good morning, good afternoon, good night to Jerko. Well, those are some nasty pitches. Jed realizing that and wanting to put that first ball in play, fastball.
We were talking before the game. If the Cardinals are to get in postseason play, this guy at the plate has to pick it up.
He's got to be red hot for the last week.
Cardinals gave him the day game in Colorado off and then did not play yesterday, so should be a little bit fresher here this afternoon, but he's got to pick it up.
Showed the signs of fatigue in San Francisco and Colorado.
0-2 the count. Matt Adams is in the cleanup spot today. He's on deck. On the outside corner, and he strikes out the side here in the first inning.
Bad news for the Cardinals early. After the first 2 balls, Arrieta threw 9 strikes in a row.
get win number 10 and finish this season in double digits. Lefties hitting .269. Keep that in mind because of all the left-handed hitters in the lineup today for Chicago.
Or they can throw them one after another. Dexter Fowler leading it off as a switch hitter, and a good one.
He has 7 leadoff home runs this year. And he looks at strike one. It's Fowler, Bryan, and Rizzo, then Zobrist, a switch hitter, Russell, Hayward, Coghlan, Montero, and Arrieta. And don't look past their pitcher. He can swing the bat. 1 ball, 1 strike on Dexter Fowler. Tim, the Cubs finished a sweep of the Reds on Wednesday night, a 9-2 win. They are now a season high 42 games above 500. First time to be that far ahead of the 500 mark since the 1945 campaign. 42 games.
Cubs lost the World Series that year to Hal Newhouser and the Detroit Tigers. I think Newhouser won 2 games in that World Series. And I believe he was the MVP for the 2nd year in a row in the American League that year.
Well, you're Mike Leake. You're saying, look, we need this game. We need innings. We need a win. Just missed a little high. And Fowler is aboard. Well, the Cardinals, even with all the success the Cubs have had this year, have played them fairly well, and in particular here at this ballpark. 3 games remaining this weekend, including today. That's a look at your BJC Healthcare difference maker. Chris Bryant with 38 home runs, 1 shy of 100 RBIs, and he looks at strike one. Bryant, the Rookie of the Year a season ago, certainly in the conversation for MVP here in year 2 of his career. There's only 3 players that have won the Rookie of the Year, and then the following season pick up the MVP. That is a foul ball. Ooh. Late call. Those 3 players, by the way, Dustin Pedroia, Ryan Howard, the St. Louis native, did that with the Phillies, and Cal Ripken Jr. in 1982 and 83.
A lot of times that late call could cause a wild throw by Peralta at third base. That's why the third base umpire, when the ball goes over the bag, it's Manny Gonzalez's call, the third base umpire. And he tries to do it as quickly as possible to give Peralta a free shot at second if the ball is fair.
Follow your runner at first base, and the 0-2 pitch. Ground ball, base hit. Fowler from first to third, hustling. Throw by Wong is not in time.
Not only can the Cubs catch the ball, not only do the Cubs have power and good pitching, the best earned run average in the big leagues, but they can run the bases with the best of it. And Derek Fowler taking advantage of Colton Wong, normally a second baseman, playing left field. Those are the 2 risk areas for the Cardinals today. Jerko at short and Wong in left field.
Here's Anthony Rizzo hitting .292.
I say risk, Dan, not because of their offense, but because of their defense.
Rizzo has popped 31 home runs. He's driven in 104. Runners at first and third and nobody out here in the bottom of the first. That ball gets away from Molina, and a run will score. Fowler scores. Bryant advances to second.
That 3-2 pitch so important to Derek Fowler, not allowing him to put the ball in play and take your chances. It was a walk. He goes to third. It pays off. First pitch to Molina is down in the dirt. He tried to backhand it instead of blocking it. And that's what happens on fastballs, because a catcher is not looking for the fastball in the dirt. The breaking ball, it's a different situation. Molina would not allow a breaking ball to get by him there, but fastballs, you're not anticipating the ball in the dirt, and anticipation's a great part of defense.
Round the horn presented by Dobbs. Wong, that's what stands out here defensively. He's at left field. Carpenter at second. And the mainstay behind the plate, Yadier Molina. Rizzo out in front. And it's 1-2. Well, the way that Arrieta looked at the top of the first, 1 run may be enough. Great numbers for Rizzo against Mike Leake. One-two pitch. Rizzo 40th double on Monday to go along with his 30+ home runs. First left-handed hitter in Cubs history to do that. 40 doubles, 30 home runs.
And over 100 RBIs for the second year in a row.
Is he your MVP?
I think Chris Bryant is.
Versatility of Bryant?
I think so.
That's a base hit out to left. Wong slipping on the play. That ball scoots into center. 2-0 Chicago.
When we looked at that defense, tried to tell you early that the two risk factors, not that that couldn't happen to any other Cardinal that was out there, but Colton Wong, very unfamiliar with the left field, particularly here at Wrigley Field, and all the damage that can be done with the turf, with the wind. It's a tough, tough ballpark in which to be an outfielder.
Now Zobrist. 2 balls, no strikes.
What's unusual about that play is this field did not have any rain this morning. You would think with it being cloudy like it is that there was rain before, but not so.
Zobrist 5th in walks with 90 this year. Out in front, the switch hitter. He's batting cleanup, hitting .267. 15 home runs. He's driven in 68. This would be his lesser size aside in average, but in terms of power, 11 of the 15 home runs hit from this side of the plate. The 2-1. Ground ball that is foul. Well, not how you drew it up if you're a Cardinal fan.
No.
Pitch number 19 here, the first inning.
David Leake trying to hold the Cubs scoreless so the Cardinals can try to get on the board. Oh, boy. This is a nightmarish game so far. We're only 3 hitters in, for crying out loud.
Wild pitch charge to Leake is second of the inning.
Now that's a ball. That was a changeup through the trap door. And that you saw Molina go down with the ball in the dirt. Unlike that fastball that got by him earlier in the inning.
Infield is drawn in and base hit past Carpenter. 3-0 Chicago.
Now you walk the leadoff hitter. Stuff like this seems to happen all the time. What follows a leadoff walk We've talked about it many, many times, Dan. You tell young pitchers in the minor league system, if you walk a hitter to lead off an inning, he's going to score. Pound it in his mind.
Here's Addison Russell. What a year he's had. Peralta. And safe at first. We'll get the lead man. Now it's Jason Hayward. You know, the other aspect of putting Wong in left field is that you really lessen yourself defensively at second base.
Right. Wong is by far the best fielding second baseman they have. You're right.
The diving attempt there on the base hit by Zobrist. Wong may make that play. The turn there at second base on the double play.
Well, if you don't have the wild pitch through the legs of Molina, allowing Rizzo to go to third, then you're playing the infield back. Gives your second baseman a better chance to field the ball.
Absolutely. Hayward, 232, his average year one with the Chicago Cubs. And they'll get the lead man. Brings in Chris Coghlan.
So far for the Cardinals, they look like they're playing in slow motion defensively.
Great way to put it. And infield defense always at a premium with Mike Leake, the guy that gets a ton of ground balls.
That's right. He's got to have the plays made behind him.
Coghlan 11 for 19 against Leake. The Cubs are 7.5 games better than Texas. Their magic number to clinch home field advantage throughout the playoffs sits at 2. You talked about it the other day. You feel this is the most complete team in baseball
since the 1995 new format of the second wild card.
That's a fair ball under the glove of Adams into the Cardinal bullpen. It can't get much worse.
I would question that. I'll tell you, that ball looked foul to me. I thought it bounced right to the right of first base. But first base umpire Jim Reynolds said, nope, fair ball. That ball looked foul. Remember, it's the first base umpire's call. Anything past the bag. Matt Adams ended up in foul territory trying to field that ball. And that was something else that I thought made it look foul.
So it's a double for Coghlan, and it brings in Montero. One ball and one strike on the 8th place hitter Miguel Montero. Pitch number 29 of the inning from Mike Leake. The 2-2 pitch. Montero fights it off. That'll be caught. The shortstop Jed Jerko with the catch. 8 men come to the plate. 4-0 our score as we head to inning number 2. To the top of the second, and we turn to Tim's Toyota key to the game.
Well, you got to score runs for Mike Leake. That is in caps right now because the Cardinals have to get off the mat. A horrible first inning, top and bottom.
At top of the first, Arrieta struck out the side. It's Adams, Molina, and Grichuk for the Cardinals. Matt Adams picked up home run number 15 in that stop through Colorado. The Cardinals now with 8 different players with 15 or more home runs. That's a National League record. One ball and 1 strike. It's a pitch right there you were talking about earlier. So tough with a right-handed hitter, but it goes down and into the lefty.
It's a tougher pitch to throw for a right-handed pitcher to a left-handed batter because that's a very vulnerable area down and in.
You're just seeing early on here, in, out, nothing over the middle of the plate.
That's why he won the Cy Young Award in 17 games this year. He is a tough customer.
2-2 pitch. And a base hit into center field for Matt Adams. Well, the most popular way to follow the Cardinals postseason push is with MLB.com at bat. #1 app for live baseball. Enjoy game day, live game video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Get MLB.com at bat on your favorite devices now. Molina comes in riding an 8-game hitting streak.
Average up to 297. Utterly remarkable from an offensive standpoint with Molina's offense this year.
His second half, he has hit close to 350.
Wow.
With all the games and the innings behind the plate piling up, he will set a record for him, a personal record for innings caught. He'll shatter that. He'll lead the league in innings caught. And here he's having one of his better seasons in terms of his average. Tim, you being a former catcher, you understand this more than anybody, how your hands just get beat up as a catcher just trying to grip the bat this time of year.
Well, the better your pitching staff, the worse your hands are going to be because For the most part, pitchers, major league pitchers, to be effective, have to have good fastballs, and those are the ones that chew up the hands.
Check on Adams, and he is going nowhere. David Ross has basically been the personal catcher for John Lester, and here he is in Chicago, honored before the game. This will be his final season in uniform.
And his final game here at Wrigley Field will be on Sunday, catching John Lester.
He was very emotional. He received from Tom Ricketts, the Cubs owner, a number 3 out of the scoreboard, the manual scoreboard here at the ballpark. And Jed Hoyer, Theo Epstein, the family members, all down there, his mom and dad, along with his wife and 4 children. Very nice. Out of play. Wiping the tears away, the number 3. Very, very nice ceremony.
His life is over, and now his life begins.
Well, you do bring up an interesting point, though. You've been doing this all your life as a little kid, and now you're almost 40 years old, and you say, well, what am I supposed to do now when March comes around?
Yeah. That's when you depend on the game, and I'm sure David Ross will depend on baseball. He's one of those guys who is considered a lifer. Inside fastball to Molina. I thought with Montero setting up inside, normally you're not going for an inside breaking ball. Those are always implied. If you call for a slider and set up inside, that's odd.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Runner at first is Matt Adams. Good at bat here by Molina. He's fought off a couple of very tough pitches. If you're the Cubs, who do you not want to face in postseason play?
I think their confidence is so high now they don't care. I really do.
Mets, their pitching staff is banged up. You have the Cardinals in the rivalry. Reyes and Martinez. San Francisco has been there before. They've got a ton of postseason experience.
You've got Bumgarner and Johnny Cueto if Cueto's groin is okay. He's scheduled to start in San Diego on Sunday, the last road game this year of the Giants. I guarantee you that Giant team glued to their televisions watching this game right here, as are the Mets in New York.
The 2-2 pitch. Mets an unbelievable win last night. Reyes ties it up with a 2-run homer in the 9th. Then they're down by 2 in the 11th, and a 3-run home run by Asdrubal Cabrera to walk it off. After the disappointment of the night before with Ender Inciarte taking a home run away, which would have been a game winner. There's a double play ball. Out at second, the turn by Zobrist. 2 down.
Easy play for Bryant, taking his time with Molina running.
In steps Randal Grichuk. He's had 38 games since coming back after being demoted to AAA. And he's had some of the best numbers in baseball in that time frame. It's from August 11th until now. 300 average, 11 home runs. He's driven in 27 and playing every day. To the count. struck him out. 4 this far for Jake Arrieta. He's in left field today. With more on that, let's check in with Jim.
Dan Colton has played just a handful of games in left field, never here at Wrigley. Mike Matheny told me we want him in the lineup. He's been a game changer offensively. As you know, the winds here can make playing the outfield very tricky. Apparently the footing too. Long told me he asked his teammates about it, and he said there were mixed reviews about being anywhere in the outfield here. He told me my main goal is to keep the ball in front of me and get it in quickly. Dan, Aledmys Diaz not in the lineup today. Mike Matheny saying he wanted to give Aledmys more time to get stronger. He's been dealing with some weakness in the arm and shoulder area, and it's affecting his timing. Just a little rest, a little more rest for Aledmys, Dan.
Well, the only problem with that is that you're running out of time.
Only problem with that is your rest may come for a long period of time. You don't want that.
It's called the off season.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jim. We appreciate it. Arrieta, good numbers, 267 average. A couple of home runs. He's driven in 7.
I don't know who was the guy who came up with the famous saying among baseball players that you sleep in November.
Arrieta, high fly ball into left center. Grichuk with the rule. Wynn knocked it down. Well, I would say first time through this lineup, Mike Leake isn't fooling anybody.
No.
But what you need for him is to settle in and just give you a chance. Period. Keep it at 4 runs, get through 5 or 6, and somehow offensively get to Arrieta. Easier said than done. Right center off the bat of Fowler. Out number 2. Pitch arsenal on Mike Leake. Fastball, cutter, slider, change, and curve. Wrigley Field has seen the Cubs win 55 times. Only the 4th time since moving to Wrigley in 1916. The Cubs have won this many. They've won 14 of their last 18 here at home.
Yeah, this park was built for play to start in 1914 for the old Cubs of the Federal League. 2 years, and they delayed that, and the Cubs had their first year in 1916. Have not won a World Series, of course, everyone knows, since 1908.
Is this their best chance that they've had?
Oh, I don't think there's any question about it. Now, the Cubs did have some good teams when Joe Madden was a Cardinal fan back in the 60s.
Right.
Ron Santo, Billy Williams, Ernie Banks, Todd Hundley, or Randy Hundley, I beg your pardon.
Early 2000s, some good teams too.
Yeah.
Mark Pryor, Kerry Wood, Carlos Zambrano, Greg Maddux.
All facets of the game. This is a powerful team going into the postseason.
3-2 pitch. Bryant reaching for it. Ground ball left side, and Peralta is there. So the Cubs go in order 1-2-3. We head to the third. Chicago on top. It's 4-0. Baseball is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price every day. And by your local Volkswagen dealer.
Lake Michigan now, but as Bob Brenly said about 5 or 6 years ago, if the Cubs win a World Series, they'll name a lake after the manager. Lou Piniella was the manager at the time, but I thought that was a great line by a terrific broadcaster and a great manager, Bob Brenly.
Many have talked about if the Cardinals get into the postseason, that this is the team that the fans do not want to see. And it's more generated by the media and the fan base because of the rivalry and because the Cardinals have had the Cubs number many times over. But that Joe Madden has deflected that to the point of we don't care who we play, and truly has deflected that attention and that, you know, that look at the Cardinals. Forget it. We're
well,
good.
I mean, last year they played the best 3 out of 5. The Cardinals won the first game, then the Cubs won 3 in a row. So I think it's already been deflected in Madden's mind and in the players' mind. They believe in this guy.
Out to shallow center, and it drops in for a hit. So base hit for Peralta.
And Dan, the turf coming undone again.
Right.
What's going on?
30,000 fans take home a bobblehead of the 06 World Series MVP David Eckstein. Replace your divot. courtesy of Coca-Cola and Deerbergs. You can also start planning ahead with your 2017 Cardinals Magnet Schedule, presented by Shelter Insurance. So don't miss the last weekend of the regular season. Tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. Two hits against Arrieta. Both have been leadoff hits. One in the second, this one in the third, and it brings in Colton Wong. We have a new addition to the Cardinals family. Congratulations to Kurt Hovel. Works for the Cardinals. He and his wife just had their 4th child today, and after 3 girls, they have a boy, Oscar Alexander Hovel. Congratulations to the Hovels.
I see the outfield turf in as bad a shape as it is in. You know, Kevin Kiermaier, the center fielder for the Tampa Bay Rays, his brother works on the ground crew in this ballpark. I didn't know that. And I met him, was kind of hanging out down on the field before the game.
And that's a base hit into center field.
Can't get it all back at once, right, Dan?
That's right. So here you have a situation with Leake, who has 3 sacrifices. Coming into this year was known as one of the better hitting pitchers in the league. He's hitting 149. Let's see what the Cardinals want to do.
Oh, they've got a bunt.
I would think.
Certainly Rizzo thinks so. He's almost equal to Arrieta at the mound, right side of the infield.
Runners at first and second. Leake squares, and that pitch hit him. And the bases will be loaded. And they're going to call a strike. C.B. Buckner calling a strike on Mike Leake.
It might have said that Mike Leake offered at the ball. I don't see how the first base umpire can make that call. That's got to come from C.B. Buckner, doesn't it? Am I all wrong on that?
Well, I'll tell you what, this might be a good time if I'm Mike Matheny to get tossed.
Well,
you know what? You don't see these anymore. This might be a way to get your team going.
That's a heck of a point.
And I also agree with you. That's got to be C.B. Buckner's call.
I mean, he's the guy who can tell whether the hitter bunted after the ball. It looked like he was trying to draw the bat back. That is a huge play in this game. Ball hit his hand, hit his right hand. The bat did not come through the strike zone.
No, it did.
But it's not reviewable. Is that right?
Correct. Pick off and back in safely, Peralta.
I mean, I agree with you. You got to get tossed on that. He did not go around and show bunt on that ball. I thought the hand came off the bat as the ball was arriving. And usually if you square around, you're going to use 2 hands to bunt the ball, right?
And he didn't offer it.
And he did. I didn't see it.
Pulled it back.
I saw the hand drawn back. And no effort to bunt at the ball.
0-2 now, the count on Mike Leake. As you mentioned, it's a huge play in this game. Instead of having the bases loaded, nobody out, now you got Leake in the hole, 0-2.
Yeah.
There it is again. Gets the bunt down, but Rizzo has a play. Out there. Out there.
No way to bunt the ball out in front of the plate. You know where you bunt the ball in a situation like that? Down the first base line. You bunt it where the first baseman came from, not where he's going. Because there's no place to there's no place to put a bunt because your first baseman's there. Keith Hernandez of the New York Mets proved that that is the way to defend that play. From an offensive standpoint, you bunt the ball down the line where the first baseman came from, not to where he's going.
So it's a second double play turned by the Cubs. And it brings in Carpenter. Struck out swinging first time up. Boy, the little things, and it's early, but boy, the Cardinals, that first inning, about as ugly a first inning we've seen this year. Now that play.
Then redemption in the top of the third, but the redemption turned against the Cardinals because they said Mike Leake bunted at the ball, and I still do not think he bunted at that ball.
You don't have the good old-fashioned umpire-manager confrontation. That could have been one. That could have been one that Mike Matheny gets tossed. Could have.
Or have all the umpires get together and determine what they saw. If three of them thought that he bunted at the ball, well, majority rules. If anybody had as good a shot at that, the third base umpire, it seems to me, would have had a better shot at it than the first base umpire who made the call.
Here's a 1-2. Carpenter strikes out for the second time. Arrieta with 5 strikeouts. Tickets for potential wild card and National League Division home games to be played in St. Louis are on sale now at Cardinals.com/postseason. Well, we had a shot in between the inning. At least somebody's showing a little fire down there, and that's Adam Wainwright getting after the first base umpire.
And it just seems to us that the argument should have gone on longer. I mean, Mike Matheny had a case, we thought.
I read his lips. He said we could have had bases loaded, nobody out.
Wainwright.
Screaming at him.
Wainwright, right.
He slammed his cup down. You didn't see that. And then he continued.
You don't see that reaction out of the Cardinal leader like that. He had been upstairs watching the television replay and saw clearly what we saw.
And that's ripped into the corner off the bat of Rizzo. He'll try to second base with a leadoff double. Not happy. Here's Ben Zobrist. And a changeup is in there for a strike. We've seen the footing of Colton Wong and another play in which an outfielder slipped.
Addison Russell.
They had Pearl Jam, Billy Joel, Luke Bryan here in late August. They replaced the outfield sod after those concerts. The last one being on August 27th. So it probably plays into what we're talking about, loose sod out there.
Good going, partner.
Infield stayed. They were able to cover that up, but it's been the outfield. First it was Wong, and then, as you mentioned, Addison Russell going out on this little blue base hit by Peralta. 2-1 pitch. Hit into right center. And it's Piscotty who catches it. And tagging up Rizzo from second to third. But to me, watching Wainwright do what he did there, that's a sign of a guy that realizes, look, I've been here before, and we're running out of time.
Sure.
Every out matters.
Absolutely.
Infield is drawn in, and now Addison Russell looks at a strike. His 21 home runs, second Cub ever to reach 20 or more in his age 22 season or younger. The other was Ron Santo, the Hall of Famer.
Mike Leake, in a situation where you try to get Addison Russell out with the ball, sliders low and away, make him go out of the strike zone.
0-2 popped up, backing up Adams. So is Carpenter, and Carpenter with the catch.
And Mike got away with one there, but that is the only thing the Cardinals have gotten away with thus far in this game.
Well put. Brings in Hayward, grounded into a fielder's choice, and then scored from first on a double by Coughlin. Been a tough first year for Hayward here in Chicago. But when you're 42 games up, above 500, gets overshadowed a bit.
No question about it.
On 1 pitch. I think one of the decisions, and we're talking about a rotation of the Cubs, does Jason Hayward play? And they've got some options that are on that bench that are pretty darn good.
Chris Coughlin, for instance.
Javier Baez. You could always move Bryant to the outfield.
Yep.
I would think that's something that's on the table. Now, Hayward is a very good defender. No taking away that. But there are others offensively that you would think have a chance to put up bigger numbers. Cardinals Insider gives you a behind-the-scenes view of the Cardinals with news, features, and more. This week, we recap the Cardinals Care Grant ceremony, get to know pitcher Mike Myers, and tag along with Jed Jerko at an autograph signing. Cardinals Insider brought to you by your Mid-America Chevy dealers. That's Sunday at 5 on Fox Sports Midwest.
I think if it were to come down in shaving that roster, the 2 or 3 players that they have over, they would have to go with an extra pitcher, a guy like Jason Hamels, who was a starter during the season. And he would be an early bullpen type guy, as opposed to a guy like Hayward, who could miss the cut. I think it's a valid point.
Runners at first and third. Coughlin, the RBI double, back in inning number 1.
I mean, the Cubs are loaded with such talent that they have a difficult time shaving their roster as it is right now down to 25 players. That's how talented they are.
Minus Kyle Schwarber. Comes back next year.
Right.
Injured in the very first series of the season in Arizona. He was playing the outfield. He's a catcher by trade. Hayward, a great jump on 2-0. Throw down to second and safe. His 9th stolen base of the year. Earlier today, Kyle Schwarber, you see the brace on the left knee. They get him back full strength next year.
Problem with Schwarber, he signed as a catcher. What does that knee do to his catching career?
Very valid point with a knee injury.
Yeah.
Coughlin, very good numbers against Mike Leake. The Cardinals know that, and Montero is on deck. Cardinals taking a long look to see if they caught Hayward. Only question would be is if he slid off the bat. Pitch, and it's a walk. Back-to-back walks, and the bases are loaded.
We talked earlier in the game, as you see it's Dean Kiefer. I beg your pardon, Kiefer. It's easy for me to say. But we talked about Molina and how the hands take a beating. I think you may remember last year I visited with Montero on the bench the prior fall. He had 3 operations on his left hand in a week. 3 different operations. He actually had a hole right below the index finger. And that had to be repaired. All sorts of pain, he said. Can barely bend his digit on his left hand, and that is a major problem for catchers, as you might imagine.
1 ball and 1 strike. Right-hander joins Kiefer in the bullpen. and 2. Montero popped out to short first time up. he struck him out. First strikeout of the afternoon for Mike Leake. Cubs strand the bases loaded. It stays a 4-0 Chicago lead. And younger entering with a ticket receive a growth poster featuring Stephen Piscotty, courtesy of Missouri Farmers Care. And stay in your seats after the game. Fireworks presented by Cooper Tires. Tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. 2, 3, and 4 in the Cardinals lineup. Jerko, Piscotty, and Adams. 4-0 Cubs. The Cardinals' first inning runs allowed 88 overall this season, which is 17th most, but in the second half 47 of the 88 have come, third most in Major League Baseball. So they're playing a lot of catch up. That's the case again here today. Arrieta has struck out 5, struck out the side in the first, Grichuk in the second, Carpenter in the third. Buckle the knees of Jerko a bit.
The home run ball has made the Cardinals a good come from behind team. 6th inning on, one of the top teams in the major leagues in run production. On the other hand, you've got a pitcher out there who doesn't give up a lot of home runs.
And when they come back late, that's how they do it. More times than not. One-two pitch. Mets were hoping to have Steven Matz back tonight against the Phillies. That will not be the case. And Noah will get the call for them as Jerko grounds to short. Hellickson will go for the Phillies. He's a 12-game winner. San Diego and San Francisco later tonight. And with one out, it brings in Piscotty. Congratulations to longtime TV play-by-play voice Bill Brown. The Houston Astros. He announced yesterday that this year will be his final season. Got to know Bill very well. He's from Missouri, went to the University of Missouri, started with the Cincinnati Reds, and finishing up this year with Houston. 30 years behind the mic with the Astros. Good guy.
First year, 1987. That was the year after the Houston Astros had that dramatic playoff game 6 in the National League Championship Series in Houston. And had the Mets lost that game, then they would have faced Mike Scott, who was as close to unhittable as any postseason's ever seen, really, that year.
Kevin Bass had the huge game 6. All right, so Tim McCarver, you're there, you're on the call. How much was Mike Scott scuffing the baseball?
A lot. That will be his legacy, believe me.
Now, how was he doing?
I don't know. I have no idea. He pitched a no-hitter that year in the clincher against the Giants, I believe.
He did.
Right?
The year of Bill Buckner and his play against the Mets. World Series of that season. Two balls and one strike on Adams. Single to center, first time up.
And as the Mets were playing the Houston Astros in Houston, at that time California Angels were playing the Boston Red Sox in Anaheim. They had an equally dramatic series.
Dave Henderson, the home run off of Donnie Moore. Mike Scott, by the way, had given up 1 run in 18 innings. A little bit low to Adams. And that'll be the first walk issued by Arrieta today. I don't know if you've seen it, but there's a fun commercial with Bill Buckner and Mookie Wilson currently on MLB Network.
I have not seen it.
But those two are together. Those two have become the best of friends.
Oh, yeah.
Mookie Wilson, the ground ball that went through the legs of Bill Buckner to force Game 7.
Well, I can tell you for a fact that there is no finer human being in the world than Mookie Wilson.
Is that right?
William Hayward Wilson.
Son's a pretty good guy, too.
Oh, Preston, terrific guy. A good announcer down in Miami.
Pick off and got it.
Tell me, can anything else go wrong for the Cardinals?
Down by 4 runs, and Adams picked off at first base. Mike Matheny wants to take a little longer look at this. They will not challenge. To answer your question, I hope not. Bottom of the fourth rolls in, and it's Jake Arrieta. First pitch is pulled foul. Arrieta here, and then Fowler and Bryant. 4-0 Chicago. Cubs picked up 4 in the first. Cardinals had activity in their pen last inning. There's a base hit on a pitch that was up. Let's check in with Jim Hayes.
Dan, Matt Holliday took live BP this morning for the first time since fracturing his thumb. A short session facing Mike Myers. Afterwards, Holliday told me overall the thumb felt good. I hit a few off the end of the bat that were a little stingy. That might be normal. Let's see how it feels tomorrow. Mike Matheny told me he would like to see Holliday have one more session of live BP before they try to get him into games, Dan.
All right, Jimmy, thank you. Dexter Fowler walked and scored back in the first, also fly to center, and looks at strike one. The problem is, and we talked about it, you're just running out of games. Bottom line. Cardinals return home Monday night, 1st of 4 against the Cincinnati Reds. Wrap up the home portion of the schedule with the Pirates. Good seats still available. Every game should feel like a playoff game, because basically it is. Here's a 1-1. Take a look at our What's on Tap presented by Budweiser. So a couple of games here left in Chicago, and then 4 with the Reds, 3 with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Alex Reyes, Jason Hamill tomorrow, Martinez and Lester on Sunday Night Baseball. As Fowler hits a high fly ball into shallow right. You know, Tim, if you think about it, the Cardinals start this trip with 4 with the Giants, 3 in Colorado, then the 3 here. And if you would have said going into the Friday game with the Cubs, you're a half game out in the wild card at the start of that trip, you would have said, I'll take it.
Oh, yeah.
There's no doubt.
Well, they lose the first 2 games to the Giants. Then they win a dramatic game last Saturday, 3-2. That was a game Mike Leake started, by the way. And then they win on Sunday and win 2 out of 3 in Denver. Blown away in game 3, but they played 2 very, very competitive games, games 1 and 2. And that's what put them a half game out after the Mets and Giants won last night.
Saturday, they were 2 outs away from being 4 back in the wild card.
Right. They lose that game, they're eliminated, in my mind.
Agreed.
I mean, it would have been virtually impossible for them to come back. Maybe not mathematically, but common sense tells you that.
Keycapper up for the second time. Miguel Sokolovich throwing in the pen as Bryant takes a pitch low and away. Chris Bryant today. A base hit to left, run scored in the first, and also grounded out to third.
It's the thing about Bryant, also with all of his other accolades, he scored 118 runs.
Right. Up the middle, off the glove of Carpenter and into center field. Arrieta will stop at second base. That may be it with the left-handing Rizzo coming up. Greater coverage of Major League Baseball is brought to you by T-Mobile. Mike Matheny hops out of the dugout, and a look at the matchups for tonight for the Phillies and Mets. Giants and Padres on the West Coast. That's it for Mike Leake. Dean Keycapper will face Anthony Rizzo with 2 runners on. When we come back, it's our Chevy call to the pen. 216 against Kiefer. This may be just a one-man appearance for him. Rizzo is up. Sokolovich continues to throw in the pen. You know, you're Mike Matheny. You've got expanded rosters. You can't let this game get any further away.
No question. Right move.
We talked about it so much. Rizzo just stands on the plate, dares you to pitch him inside.
Yep. Both feet should start out at least 6 inches toward the left-hand batter's box. They obviously, those lines are a little vague, but it does not look like 6 inches to me, and I'm surprised a lot of managers have not tried to ask an umpire to measure that and to make sure that his foot's not too close to the plate.
Look, you're a guy that when we work together, I never hear you say, well, when I played, this has got to be that, you know, this, that, and the other. However, I am going to ask you, 60s, 70s, early 80s, guy stands that close to the plate, what happens?
Well, I mean, they're going to get him off the plate. That's a pitcher's job.
But you don't see it anymore.
No, you don't, because you can't. The umpires control that now. You get warnings to both benches, suspensions, stuff like that.
But you have to pitch inside.
Yeah, that's right. You got to be able to pitch inside. Oh, that's, and to credit Rizzo, I mean, he dares pitchers to throw him inside. There's no outside part of the plate to him. His outside corner is a ball right down the middle.
No question. 2-2 the count. Lights are on here at Wrigley. Rizzo reaching for it off the glove of Jerko and into center field. They'll hold up the runner. Arrieta at third, sliding for it. Adams, and the bases will be loaded.
The reason that Matt Adams is sliding for that ball, he wasn't sure whether that ball would be caught or not, so he had to stay at home plate. So by the time he became the cutoff man, it was late. He had to slide for the ball, and we've seen balls bounce all over the place against the Cardinal defense today.
That pitch is a foot outside, but because of where Rizzo is set up.
That's exactly what we were talking about.
Yeah.
That's right. Good point, Bart.
So Sokolovich coming on with the bases loaded and 1 out here in the 4th. And the pitch from the lefty Kiefer. Look how far this pitch is outside. Wow. Sometimes you got to credit the hitter.
There is no outside corner to him, and that is a case in point.
So the base is loaded for Ben Zobrist. RBI single back in the first. He is also flied out to right. Switch hitter. 293 from the right side of the plate. 256 from this side. And a changeup is taken low. Matt Adams, the corner at first base. He is in. Peralta in and off the line at third. Could be two. Carpenter to first and safe.
Tough to ever turn a 4-6-3 double play. But this ball hit hard enough, and Zobrist not a real fast runner. Carpenter's feed's okay, but a late throw by Jerko.
So runners at first and third, 2 outs, and here is Addison Russell. Runner goes and no chance. Zobrist, the stolen base, number 6. Now runners second and third, and the 1-0 pitch to Russell. 2-0, and Hayward is on deck. Three and 0. Hyundai pitch arsenal. A lot of change-ups from Sokolovic.
Addison Russell, a guy who will swing. 3-0.
Three and 1.
Joe Madden usually gives his hitters a lot of confidence, saying if you think it's a good one, swing at it. He lets them decide.
Three and 2.
Just looking at Addison Russell, if he learns to use the right side of the field, he'll become a better hitter. Only a .245 batter, but with those 93 RBIs, becomes too pull happy.
It's it sharply to short. Jerko up with it and makes the play. The Cubs add to the lead. They pick up a run. It's 5-0 as we head to the 5th. First pitch to Yadier Molina is swung on and missed. Underway here in the top of the 5th. What has been an ugly start to this game. 5-0 Chicago. Nothing, as Tim said, going the way of the Cardinals. Quickly, 2 strikes on Molina. Bounced into a double play. 5-4-3 back in the 2nd. Oh, 0-2 pitch. Struck him out. 6 today for Jake Arrieta. Cardinals and Edward Jones would like to congratulate the 2016 members of the Cardinals Hall of Fame. Chris Carpenter, Terry Moore, Sam Braden, and Joe Torre. Edward Jones was honored to sponsor the Hall of Fame and the annual induction process that gives fans a voice in recognizing the team's greatest players. Randal Grichuk looks at strike 1. He struck out back in the 2nd inning. So Reyes and Hamill tomorrow. That game will be on Big Fox. 12:05 with the first pitch. Sunday Night Baseball, Martinez and Lester. John Lester making a very strong case to be the Cy Young Award winner in the National League. A couple of more starts before he's set to go for postseason play. He's 17-4. On the outside corner. 7 today for Arrieta. You would think Hamill could be the one that's on the outside looking in terms of the postseason rotation, and he's a 15-game winner.
Yeah.
Reyes tomorrow, very good in his last start, which was Sunday against the Giants. A blue base hit by Peralta to center. 1-for-1 today. He grimaces as he swings, and you can just tell the hand and the thumb just not quite right here in the 2nd half.
No.
Here's a 1-1.
But I mean, so far this offense totally bewildered by Arrieta.
Peralta with a fly ball into right near the line, and the catch is made by Hayward. St. Louis goes in order. We're midway through 5 and a 5-0 Chicago lead. StubHub app. Not only will you find seats you'll love whenever you want, you can find the best seat for your buck when you sort by the best value. So get the StubHub app today. Every Friday at home, count on it, day baseball here at Wrigley Field. That's what we have here this afternoon, the Cubs and the Cardinals. It's Hayward, Coghlan, and Montero. Hayward is walked, pick up a stolen base, and a run scored.
Notice that guard on Hayward's right cheek. The reason he wears that, 2 seasons ago, he was hit by Jonathan Neese of the New York Mets. The right cheek. But you know, I think what you're going to have is more guys wearing that before they get hit to necessitate that.
Look at it this way. I think in 5 or 10 years, it could be something that's brought in by baseball like the helmet was originally, but I'd venture to say 50, 60, maybe even 70% of the players will be wearing that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Molina's done that this year.
Yep.
Aledmys Diaz. Little broken bat, slowly hit. Tough play for Carpenter, and out. Talked to Ryan Spilborghs when we were in Colorado, and Ryan, a former major league player, now is the analyst for the Rockies, and we were talking about that protective gear, and I said, do you think that'll, you know, does it inhibit you at all as a hitter? And he said no. He said you don't really recognize it or realize it's there until you call attention to it, but as a hitter it doesn't impede your vision one bit.
Well, it depends on, my experience was it depends on how you came up through the ranks. I mean, if you didn't have that, if you didn't have the ear flap until later after you had hit without it for so many years, then it doesn't bother you.
Well, that's what he said too.
Yeah.
It's interesting because he had an ear flap on one side, the other side was open. He was then sent down to the minor leagues. He spent about 6 or 7 years in the big leagues, and when he went back down the final time, it's now a new rule in the minor leagues, ear flaps on both sides. And he said that was really hard for him to get used to because you're so used to having that one ear and that one side open.
Right.
But that's now mandated in minor league baseball. Two and one the count on Chris Coghlan. He has doubled, picked up an RBI. And also walked back in the third. Sokolovich, the third pitcher used by the Cardinals today. Mike Leake, 3 1/3, 5 runs, 7 hits, struck out 1, walked 3.
Sokolovich getting that low strike. That ball was not a strike.
The 2-2. One thing that Miguel does so well is sells that changeup. A lot of arms and legs coming at the hitter, and sells it. Three-two pitch. Changeup. Pulled foul. Happy birthday to Melody Yount. Does an outstanding job in the PR department of the Cardinals, and Brian Bartow, Chris Tuno thanked them very much all year for their help. Bobbled by Carpenter, but Coghlan is out at first. Grateful Dead night is back at Busch Stadium. That'll be Monday against the Reds. Purchase of the special theme ticket, you'll receive an exclusive Grateful Dead inspired Cardinals t-shirt. Grateful Dead night tickets now at cardinals.com/theme. Brings in Miguel Montero. I was taking not a poll, but informal viewpoint of those that are around this city and around the Cubs. I said, what would it be like if the Cubs win the World Series? And everybody just kind of raised their eyebrows, shook their head, and they said, scary. What could happen? The party that could ensue in the winter months.
Grateful Dead like?
Maybe so. Maybe so. Wong, the pitcher's spot. Carpenter coming up. Jake Arrieta. He's come to Chicago and turned his career around. 53-20. And he was just kind of a lost soul, if you will, in Baltimore, and now has become one of the preeminent pitchers in the game today.
Somebody saw something with the Cubs, and Theo Epstein, the general manager here, pulled the trigger, and they have gotten themselves a prize.
To their credit, Chris Bosio, the pitching coach, went to Arrieta and said, what got you here? What got you to the big leagues? And he talked about how the Orioles really tried to change his delivery to the plate. And you mentioned how he throws across his body. He steps,
opening up that left foot.
Steps towards a right-handed batter. They said, go back to it. Let's see what happens. He's also a workout fanatic, keeps himself in great condition, and clearly very good stuff. 1-1 pitch to Wong. Cardinals with just 3 hits today.
Well, what Baltimore is guilty of is changing him from his natural way of delivering the ball. That's why he signed as a professional athlete. And there are other organizations that try to change guys for the worse.
Broken bat, grounded back to Arrieta, underhands to Rizzo.
But handed to the scout that was responsible for that. It's just like Bob Boone and Trey Turner, the remarkable young player. He's only played 60 games. He came up right after the All-Star break. And they are talking about this young man, and they got him for a player to be named later. from the San Diego organization, and whoever was responsible for that should be fired from San Diego. I don't know who it was, but to let this guy go, I mean, how can you make that mistake?
Bob Boone is here today.
Bob Boone is here today, father of Aaron. Aaron Boone doing the ESPN broadcast today on radio, and they'll stick around for the Sunday night telecast.
1-1 pitch. Greg Garcia, the pinch hitter for Miguel Sokolovic.
They asked Bob Boone to, Mike Rizzo, the general manager of the Nationals, asked Boone, who would you compare this guy with? He's Alan Trammell with speed. Alan Trammell is a borderline Hall of Famer with Detroit, for crying out loud.
Base hit into right. There are many that follow the Tigers that believe that Trammell and Lou Whitaker both should be in.
Yeah, yeah.
Boy, that's quite a compliment.
That really is. And he's only 23 years old. Trey Turner, you're going to see him in the postseason with Washington.
We saw him a lot in spring training.
Oh, you did?
Oh, yeah. And
did you think then that he would turn out to be what he's turned out to be?
Heard about him, saw his speed. That catches your eye. Anybody that runs well, you go, well, that guy catches my eye. But you know, they talked about him being potentially a shortstop, maybe an outfielder. So there still was indecision even inside their own organization as to where to play him. A fly ball out to center as Carpenter is retired. But he could be a difference maker and already has been.
It was a 3-team deal with a player going from Tampa Bay to San Diego to Washington. Washington got Trey Turner, and then the Washington franchise sent a player to Tampa Bay. So it was a 3-team deal, and there was no question who got the best of that deal. I mean, this guy can make an impact in the postseason, a real impact.
Here's Jed Jerko. He is 0 for 2. We mentioned that Arrieta comes from Baltimore, and the Orioles just swept by the Boston Red Sox, and if the playoffs started today, the Orioles are out of the wild card. Detroit would be in. Detroit had a sweep of Minnesota in a doubleheader yesterday. Red Sox might be the team to beat, along with the Cubs.
Yeah.
But the Red Sox in the American League, Cubs in the National League, and you would have said that 20 years ago, people have thought you're crazy. But the Red Sox have won 3 world championships. Now the Cubs, led by Theo Epstein and Jed Hoyer, have loaded up their farm system and good players here. 0-2 the count. Looking for strikeout number 8.
What a storyline that would be.
Yeah.
Theo Epstein returning to Boston.
Cubs against anybody in the World Series. Just the fact they're in the World Series.
Yep.
What a legacy it would leave Theo Epstein, too, to lead Boston and Chicago to a World Series. I mentioned to you, and it's always stuck out to me, I asked you, one of our first games, I said, Tim, why have the Cubs struggled? You said it's not the day games, not the ballpark. It's about drafting players, and they just never have done that.
And their farm system.
And you can't say that anymore.
No.
The 2-2. And Jerko waves at it. Strikeout number 8. And Arrieta cruising. Midway through 6. 5-0 Chicago. and the Cubs clash with Yadier Molina and the Cardinals tomorrow at 11:30 on Fox, or watch it live on Fox Sports Go. Jake Arrieta will lead it off for Chicago. Bottom of the 6th rolls in. The Cardinals turn to Trevor Rosenthal. One good outing, one bad outing since he's come off the DL. So Chevy Cole to the pen. So Leake 3 1/3. Kiekefer came in to face Rizzo, did not record an out. Sokolovich an inning and a third, rather an inning and 2/3, and now Trevor Rosenthal.
Well, one of the bright spots for the Cardinals over the last week has been the reemergence of Trevor Rosenthal.
Should be a very interesting offseason for the Cardinals with their everyday lineup and what they want to do next year, but also starting rotation. Lance Lynn comes back. The emergence of Alex Reyes. Seung-Hwan Oh will be back next year. Who closes games out? Where does Rosenthal fit into that picture as he picks up a strikeout?
Well, if you're thinking trade, the market would give you a lot for Trevor Rosenthal. I'll guarantee you that.
48 saves a year ago.
Yes, sir. Arm like that. May not be Aroldis Chapman stuff that you'd get back, but you'd get back a lot for Trevor Rosenthal. I don't think the Cardinals are going to move him.
No.
Unless they get the ranch.
Ground ball, it's hit to Carpenter. 2 down. When this guy is right, when he's healthy and his stuff is right, he is as good as anybody. But it's about pitching ahead in the count, and that's something that he just could not do this year.
Strike one, biggest pitch in the game.
Chris Bryant 2 for 3, couple of singles and a run scored. 4-run first for the Cubs. Then they added another run in the 4th. There's a tight breaking ball.
You know, you can see in the body language something that's very healthy for any pitcher, but particularly a young pitcher who's had problems. It's quiet confidence, and his body language is so different now when he goes out there.
Really is.
There's no hysteria to go along with his pitches.
Almost quiet.
Yeah, there's a big difference in saying I will do this as opposed to I think I can do this.
1-2 pitch to Bryant. 2-2. So Rosenthal ineffective, then goes out, and this club would not be in the position they are, only a half game out in the wild card, without the emergence of Seung-Hwan Oh. That's for certain. Three and two, the count on Chris Bryant. Pulls it foul. Let's get the crouch. He's 6'5". Crouches in his stance and then just explodes into the baseball.
He's one of the few power hitters that has a flat bat. Just look at power hitters throughout baseball, and most of their bats are perpendicular to the ground, not parallel.
And a 2-out walk. Community Coffee is offering Cardinals fans the chance to see the Redbirds take on the Reds this Monday through Thursday for only $5. Cardinals.com/communitycoffee to purchase your $5 tickets. Should be a playoff atmosphere at Busch Stadium. Hope you join us beginning on Monday night. Anthony Rizzo 3 for 3 today. Fastball at 97. Oh, and 2. Oh, 2 pitch, reaches out for it, and Jerko is there to make the catch. Cubs strand a runner, sends us to the 7th, a scoreless inning for Rosenthal. Top of the 7th. Academy Sports and Outdoor leaderboards. Highest percentage of the team runs scored against an opponent via the home run. In the Cardinals, 61% of those via the home run against Chicago. Arrieta pitching into the 7th. Never guaranteed once you get into postseason play whether or not you advance with the best record. Phillies in 2011 lost to the Cardinals. Washington the following year lost to the Cardinals. Cardinals 2013 best record, losing the World Series. As Piscotty hits a 2-2, taken there by Zobrist for the out. Last year the Cardinals best record, lose to the Cubs in the division series. Never ever guaranteed. This is the Gateway Honda home run inning. Cardinals hit a home run. The Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri. With one out, here is Adams, who is walked and then was picked off back in the 4th. Also singled to center. Few spots away from Arrieta in the lineup. Pitch count at 89. That's hit down the left field line, sinking and foul. 5-run lead. Sure, Joe Madden thinking about that. No need to push one of his big horses here today.
I asked Chris Bosio, the pitching coach for the Cubs, about Arrieta. Would he be limited to 100 pitches today or 105? He said there's nothing different about his start today than it is normally. So one thing about the Cubs and Joe Madden, I mean, why handle this ball club delicately now, since they've proven their ilk, you know, up to this time? I mean, you stand, in my opinion, and from my experience, you stand more of a chance of getting hurt by being delicate and being cautious out there. I mean, you won the thing with reckless abandon, and they clinched before anybody else. So why all of a sudden start treating your players delicately? I just don't think you should, and that's Joe Madden's thinking.
It's 9 strikeouts for Arrieta. That is the fine line that he's walking right now.
Yeah.
Here and there you may rest a player next week, but for the most part you put out your everyday lineup and push to the end.
Yes. And that way you're better prepared to go into the excruciating pressure of the postseason play.
0-1 pitch. Molina, base hit. Held to a single, and that's a 9-game hitting streak for Yadier Molina.
You know, Dan, I was fortunate to be a part of some really great Cardinal teams in the 60s. But I've often thought about how much more difficult it would have been and to have the best season. We went on the last day of the season in 1964. 67 we won going away. 68 we won going away. But what if we had had that multi-tiered playoff format that they have today? So much more difficult to win, obviously, 11, 12 games than it is 4 games. And not until 1969 was the playoff developed by Major League Baseball. So prior to that, for those of you who may not know, it was just a lot, in fairness, a lot easier to win a World Series than it is today.
Here's a 1-0 pitch to Grichuk. I think it's interesting too is that because of the added wild card and the potential of the play-in, and there you see the long droughts for those clubs, obviously the longest for Chicago, 107 years. Regular season ends for the Cubs. They've got 3 or 4 days to sit around and wait.
Yep, and think.
That's part of it.
One of the worst things, I'm telling you, one of the worst things is to, when you're going to bed at night, you're thinking about tomorrow or 2 days from now or 3 days from now, or who you're gonna play. All these thoughts enter your mind. You're a human being. You're not a robot.
Here's a 1-2 pitch.
The food doesn't taste the same.
Well, I go back to the 2006 Cardinals. They had the great run. They beat the Mets in 7, and Detroit, after sweeping Oakland, sits around for a week. A week. It's a long time.
It happened to Colorado later against Boston. They set out for 12 days before playing in the World Series. Matt Holliday was a member of that team. He certainly remembers it well.
Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runner at first is Yadier Molina. Grichuk 0 for 2 today with a pair of strikeouts. 10 strikeouts for Jake Arrieta. 30th appearance. Justin Floppier and the Passmore family reunion are here and enjoying Cardinals baseball. Great to have the Passmores here. They followed us here in the second half all over the country. Zobrist, Russell, and Hayward. Tuivailala, fifth pitcher used by the Cardinals. And there's strike one. Zobrist today with a couple of RBIs. Stolen base is sixth. That was in the fourth inning. RBI base hit in the first. Fastball, slider, and curve from Sam Tuivailala.
Another strength of the Cubs. I can't think of a team going to postseason that has had so many players that can play so many positions.
Right.
Zobrist, the pinnacle of that, of course. But you've got Chris Bryant, an outfielder slash third baseman.
Wilson Contreras, catcher, outfielder.
Yep.
Javier Baez can play multiple infield positions.
Sure, second, short, third, cannon for an arm.
And a leadoff walk to Zobrist, his 91st this year. Whether you like the methods or not, Joe Maddon is able to deflect a lot of the attention of the pressure of the media around this club.
And that is a very, very important thing.
Russell showing bunt, takes a strike. He's got the zoo animals and the clowns and snakes and whatever.
I would have to go to him and say, look, I don't mind the animals. I just don't like snakes.
Yeah.
That's all right with you.
Just sit this one out.
Yeah.
I could see red chainings back in the day. Boys, gather around. I've got a couple of pythons you need to look at.
No. No. He's listening in Omaha, Nebraska this afternoon. I'll guarantee you Bob Gibson would have said, Red, that's not going to happen. There's nobody that hates snakes worse than Bob Gibson.
Is that right?
Oh, my gosh. I'm right behind him.
Jericho had to come back in for that ball and puts it away for the out. Here's Jason Hayward. Run scored back in the first. A walk, a stolen base, his ninth, and grounded out to second. Cardinals perspective, you get back on track tomorrow. Alex Reyes 3-1, Jason Hammel 15-9. And if Reyes is anything like he was Sunday against the Giants, Cardinals have a good shot. He was terrific.
7 innings of scoreless ball on Sunday.
2-0 on Hayward. Shadows creep towards home plate.
The wind, once again, we talked about the wind earlier. It has affected this game in an adverse fashion for hitters. I mean, that ball is like going through mud in the air.
It's a muggy day here, too. Thought it's supposed to start getting cold around here. Not yet. First month here at Wrigley can be brutal.
Oh.
First month and a half, really. Could be 2. And they get 1.
In dazzling fashion.
I'd say.
A great play by Jerko and Carpenter, who barehanded it. I think Jerko shoveled it off from the glove hand, and Carpenter barehanded it and stepped on the bag to get the lead runner. That's a beauty of a play. No, bare hand to bare hand. Nice.
Here's Chris Coughlin. RBI double in the first, a walk, and also a ground out. Back in the first inning, key play in this game. It's our Nissan drive of the game. We thought that ball very well could have been called foul, and instead it's a double. He would advance to third on the throw to the plate. 0-1 pitch.
I think Mike Matheny going on that particular ball that was hit. I think he was going on the reaction of Yadier Molina, because the catcher on a ball like that has the best view of anybody in the ballpark. Even the umpire down the first base line has the first baseman with whom to contend. That could mess up his view. The home plate umpire, you've got the catcher there, but the catcher's view is clear. And since Molina said nothing, I guess that's why Mike Matheny didn't argue.
2-1 pitch on its way. 3-1. There's no doubting the big arm of Sam Tuivailala. But right now he needs to throw strikes, be more consistent, and keep on developing that secondary pitch, which has been a slider cutter.
Yeah.
3-1. Out of play.
You blow guys away in the minor leagues, not in the big leagues.
Matt Adams playing behind the runner. Jason Hayward at first base with a left-handed batter. 3-2. And he walked him. 2 walks in the inning. So with 2 outs, Cardinals make a pitching change with Zach Duke coming in. the Cardinals, appearance number 76 for Zach Duke. He's done a nice job.
Done a great job. Kind of an obscure trade from the White Sox, but he has done very, very well, and his ability to get right-handers out will be tested once again.
Jorge Soler, pinch hitter for Montero.
It's another guy that you may not know whether he's going to play in the postseason. The other guy, Contreras, on deck. I'm not sure whether he's a backup catcher or not. Is it David Ross?
It's got to be Ross. He's the personal catcher for Lester.
Yeah. I mean, this is only the 60th start for Montero today.
Right.
Soler pinch hitting for Miguel.
So 2 outs, runners at first and second, and the 0-2 pitch to Jorge Soler. Cubs have a right-hander throwing in their pen. Contreras at the on-deck circle.
Contreras will enter the game one way or the other, either as a pinch hitter or as a catcher if Soler makes an out.
They gave Soler a 9-year deal. He was one of the first signings for this new regime, and
like $30 million or so for 9 years, which is considered chump change by many, but not when you're coming from Cuba.
A swing and a miss, and Duke picks up the strikeout. Cubs strand 2. They've left 9 on today. They have a 5-run lead. Big games left here for the Cardinals. 1 week to go. After this weekend, first of 4 beginning on Monday night. Reds in town. Pittsburgh next weekend. All those games on Fox Sports Midwest. Good seats still available at the ballpark. Just activated before the game, Pedro Strop could be a big piece to their bullpen. Dealt with a knee issue and is on the 15-day DL. 10 strikeouts for Jake Arrieta. Starter today, looking to pick up the win, which would be number 18. He'd go to 18-7.
One thing, Strop can get wild, as he has to Johnny Peralta.
Remember, it was Peralta had that down to their final strike home run last year.
I was just thinking of that game. Yeah, the 2-run home run
off a Strop.
Yeah. Also big home run off a stroke, Greg Garcia, to tie a game at Busch Stadium last year. So Strop has had his problems with the Cardinals, and it continues. 4 straight balls to Peralta.
Kubota power stats. Most home runs on the road. The Cardinals with 120. St. Louis overall 523 extra base hits, 3rd most in baseball. There's a strike to the left fielder Colton Wong, who's 1 for 2.
Cardinals have had 2 runners on base in 1 inning. That was back in the 3rd, and Colton Wong was actually Peralta knows Wong. He was eliminated at third base on the double play. Had it right to begin with. It was Peralta. A rare 3-5-4 double play on the ball bunted in front of the plate.
0-2 the count. Treras is the catcher. Ben Zobrist's move from second base to left field. Javier Baez takes over at second base. Strikeout of Wong. First down here in the top of the 8th.
11 strikeouts for the Cardinals today, and they still have 5 outs to go.
Jerome Williams throwing in the Cardinals pen. Right-hander and a lefty for the Cubs in their pen. Here's Moss, team high 27 home runs. Moss is 2 for his last 50 on the road.
Some things you have to repeat. I hear you right.
Yep.
2 for 50, 5-0 on the road.
You think about it, Moss and Piscotty have been quiet here recently, and yet the Cardinals still a chance to get in.
Yeah.
Shift is on and a 1-1. Took some off it. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Some people say that the Cardinals have a home run or nothing type offense. I don't know any other way to phrase it.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned it. There's somebody in scoring position when they're in the batter's box.
Yeah, right. Instead of second base. Second base, they can't move a runner from second to third. But if they're in the batter's box, they've got a chance because all of them can hit the ball out of the ballpark. One of the strangest offenses that I've ever experienced watching over any length of time.
On a hop, Bryant. Wow, what a double play. The shift hits right into it, and Bryant, a nice pick to start it. St. Louis Cardinals baseball is brought to you by Michelob Ultra, brewed for those who go the extra mile. And by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals. Disappointing start to this series for the Cardinals. Here in game one, they trail by the score of 5-0. Fans here at Wrigley enjoying a nice afternoon. Jerome Williams.
4 and go for the Cubs. They scored 4 in the first inning. And not much offense from either team since then. Only 1 run scored by the Cubs in the 4th.
Wilson Contreras homered in his first ever plate appearance in the big leagues earlier this season. Chevy called to the pen.
Kind of understating things to say that Jerome Williams has been around.
Two 2-1 pitch. For us, this is our final game together this year.
Yeah.
Always fun with you, sir.
Always enjoyed it, Dan, so much.
Next 2 games, national TV, and then Rick will be with us Monday. And I believe Jim Edmonds to wrap up the season. Three and 2 the count on Contreras. Breaks his bat and pulls it foul. I believe that is Travis Wood, left-hander, getting loose for the Cubs in their pen. Well, you're right. I mean, Jerome Williams has done just about everything you can with every team.
Yeah. Well thought of by everybody in baseball because of that.
Contreras, a base hit. Well, Contreras, you watch him play, he brings some excitement to this team.
He does. Animation.
This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the content descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals.
Thing about Contreras is he plays hard, runs hard, and it's a shame that he stands out.
Boy, isn't that saying something? So basically what you're saying is he plays the game the right way.
I think so.
Sometimes it may rub some the wrong way because he plays with a flair, but so be it. Highest leadoff on base percentage. Carpenter and Fowler among those leadoff men. Arcia in the driver's seat. One pitch inside. High fly ball, center field. Grichuk is there.
40,000 people here forgot to check the flags.
Blowing in.
Boy, I'll tell you, the wind in this park, so much a part of baseball. 1976, I was with the Phillies, and in the 6th inning, we were trailing 13-2. 1 out, nobody on. We won the game 18-16 with the wind blowing out, of course. Mike Schmidt hit 4 home runs that day.
Wow.
The first one off Rick Russell, the fourth one off Paul Russell, his brother, to win it. 1979, wind blowing out. I was in that game where the Phillies won 23-22. 45 runs scored, obviously wind blowing out. After 1 inning, it was 6-5 Cubs. Phillies scored 5, Cubs scored 6. The starting pitchers had a home run and a triple in the inning. The opposing starting pitchers.
Yeah, we joke about it, but it's true. Between every inning, the players, and in particular the outfielders, are told, look at the flags.
Check the flags. Yeah, I mean, that's where a coach who's responsible for defensive movement of the outfielders, hey, pal, you're on your own. I can't move you every pitch. Just check the flags.
2-2 the count on Chris Bryant. Quick turnaround for tomorrow. That game will be seen at 11:30, the pregame show. 12:05 with the first pitch on Fox Channel 2, back home in St. Louis. Great setting for baseball, wonderful town, always fun to be here.
And it makes it complete, the whole package, with the Cardinals in town. Cardinals and Cubs, it's just better.
I've been here during other games, other series,
Yeah.
and there's something to it. It's different.
No question.
Three-two pitch, runner goes, and it's hit out to deep left. Wind knocks that down, and the catch made by Wong coming in. Contreras back to the bag at first, and there's 2 away. Anthony Rizzo with 2 outs and a runner at first. Rizzo 3 for 4 on the afternoon, a pair of singles and a double. RBI number 105. And there's strike 1.
Cardinals leading RBI guy, Stephen Piscotty, with 81 RBIs. And yet the Cardinals are the team with all the home runs, and not the Cubs.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Well, you look at all the home runs that the team has hit collectively, but yet no one at 30 or more.
Right.
Usually it's a guy that's got 35, 40, 45, something like that.
Sure.
That sets the pace, but not this team.
8 players on the Cardinals with 15 home runs or more.
0-2 the count. Inside to Rizzo.
Jerome Williams coming inside on Rizzo. Roosters out of the hen house.
Yeah.
0-2, 0-1, both balls way inside.
2-2. Rizzo pulls it foul. Of the 212 home runs hit by the Cardinals, which is most in the National League, 131 have been solo shots. So they get the home runs, but you'd love to see even more damage.
Yeah. And more on-base percentage before those home runs are hit. More than anything, it's just a quirky part of the offense. But it's not a thunderous offense by any means. And yet, they lead the National League in home runs.
Right. 2-2 the count. 2 outs. Runner at first. Reaching for it. Out of play. See Rizzo just hang over the plate, but also with 2 strikes, he chokes up. Something that not a lot of players do today, and certainly not power hitters.
He takes the proper approach. He's more inclined to go to left field with 2 strikes than most hitters in the National League.
The 2-2. And he struck him out. Scoreless inning by Jerome Williams. 5-0 Chicago as we head to the 9th. Call to the pen, Travis Wood. 73rd appearance. Lefties only hitting 135 against him. He was in the Sean Marshall deal, you may recall, with the Cincinnati Reds. A few years ago, Reds were storming through the Central, needed a top-notch lefty, potential closer type, and that was Marshall. And Wood came to Chicago, and he's really filled a nice role. When they were bad, he was in their rotation, pitched well. He was an all-star, and now as they've gotten better, he shifts to the bullpen and plays an important role out there.
He has filled a more important role than Marshall was expected to fill with the Cincinnati Reds.
And he never got healthy.
No.
That was one of the issues,
right.
you know. So he gets the top of the lineup, and it's Matt Carpenter. 5-0 Cubs here in the top of the 9th. Cubs have a right-hander throwing in their pen as well. Carpenter, tough afternoon. He is flied to shallow center, struck out twice. He still is hitless in his career regular season play against Jake Arrieta. almost felt like in this game after the first inning, it was done.
It's almost like the air was out of the balloon.
Yep.
Everything imaginable that could have happened bad to St. Louis happened. Even with the 4-run lead, the pickoff of Matt Adams to end the third inning. And usually if you get a guy picked off, it's going to be a guy who can fly. Well, obviously, Matt Adams cannot fly. So it was surprising to see him picked off.
Begs the question, where are you going?
Yeah, exactly.
The 2-2 pitch to Carpenter. It's an out of play. Wind is picked up a little bit. Cloudy overhead here at Wrigley Field. The 2-2.
Think about this ballpark without flags. Seems like more than any other park,
You look here.
this park deserves flags. In abundance.
3-2 pitch, struck him out.
C.B. Buckner, not known for one of the better ball and strike umpires. Matt Carpenter thought that ball was inside. Looked high enough.
Carl Edwards Jr. Right-hander coming in for the Chicago Cubs. This will be our Chevy call to the pen. We'll step aside, back with more in a moment. Average against him very low. Lefties 140, the righties just 123. 5-0 Chicago. First pitch is a strike.
You know, we saw him earlier in the season. He's a different pitcher right now.
Oh, yeah.
And a guy who has a chance of pitching in the postseason and making the postseason roster for the Cubs. Somebody got to him with the breaking ball, saying your breaking ball's good enough to be a winner in the major leagues if you throw it for strikes. And he is throwing, generally speaking, more strikes than he did early in the year.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Jerko is 0 for 3. Couple of strikeouts and a ground out to short. In the air, right field. Hayward. 2 outs. Budweiser player of the game, Jake Arrieta. 7 innings, 5 hits, strikes out 10. He's your Budweiser player of the game. The final hope, Stephen Piscotty with 2 outs and nobody on for St. Louis. 0 for 3 today. Called out on strikes as Arrieta struck out the side in the first. Fly to center, grounded out to second. 0-2. Cubs take game 1, 5-0.
Tell you, Dan, if there's ever a time to bounce back, tomorrow is it. Behind the young right arm of Alex Reyes.
Post-game show next.